What's up, everybody? Welcome to Earth Science. Here's what you're going to do for this part. You should already have this. If not, go back and watch the first video more until you have this all set. Then what we're going to do is do some measurements. Remember, number one was your middle, then you went out, out, out. So what you've got to do is some very easy measurements on it. Looks like this. Distance between foci, length of major axis. And then you'll use those with this equation to calculate an eccentricity. I'm going to do the second one, which on this example one was green. So I'm coloring that green. And what I've got to look for is those two things, distance between foci. Those dots were the foci. So the distance between foci just means measure between those two dots. So I'm going to go from here to here. Yours is not going to be this. We'll be off by a little bit. And we need to gain some focus. I don't know, what do you think? 3.9 centimeters? Looks good to me. While I'm holding it with one hand. Major axis, what we did for that in this lab, that's what the fold is. You can't really see it on camera here. There you go. But that fold in the paper is the major axis. So for green, go along the fold from one end of the shape all the way to the other. Right? My major axis is that long, looking like about 12.5. That's it. That's as hard as it gets. Then grab a calculator. Distance between foci divided by length of major axis. I'll type that divided by that. And note that we're going to round these to the nearest thousandth. I was going to say a rule, but really just as a mathematical reality, you're always dividing a smaller number by a bigger one. That's the only way it works because the foci have to be inside the major axis. So the only way that these work, the only way you're going to get a correct answer is if they're somewhere between 0 and 1. Your circle will be 0, spoiler alert, and nothing gets as high as 1. That'll all be in between there. But go to the nearest thousandth. That's 3 digits out. And then you'll just compare the numbers. What's happening as you spread these pins out? I asked you to look at that in the last video, but now in this video, as these pins get further and further and further, what happens to this thing we call eccentricity, and what does that mean for the shape? What happened to these shapes as they got out? More and more and more. And again, we're not talking big, small. We're talking the shape, the eccentricity. Good luck.